What's up, everybody? Welcome to 208. As always, not always, that's not fair to say. Why not show up to the party fashionably late today? We're a little bit behind, 20 minutes or so. That's okay. We're here for you. We want you to win your fantasy league. Let's get this party started right now. Let's not wait.
Matt,
we are locked in on this Wednesday.
That is such a good intro. I love that new intro so much.
Yeah, me too. We are locked in. It's Wednesday. It's the 25th. We got a game tomorrow. We've been coaching football and farming and doing everything we do at 208, plus getting you all the answers to win your fantasy football league championship and win this week. You got to tune into this week. Big week this week. It's week 4. Now we start cooking, man. Now we've got some ingredients. Some trades are starting to happen. We're getting dialed into who, maybe, where, and what, and people to get. So, Justin, Chance, are you guys ready?
Oh, so ready.
I'm ready to go.
All right. Let's do it. Let's jump right into the news. Let's do it. Let's roll.
What's going on?
Fellas, what do you got for us?
Hey, so a few updates. Justin Herbert, still kind of TBD. Based on his injury, he could play, but really that comes down to what the coaching staff wants and if they want to rest him. To me, I think Justin Herbert's going to want to play because he's playing Kansas City. It's a divisional game. Like, I think he's going to want to play and play through that injury. And I think if they can slow the pace down, they'll be just fine. A few other guys, Tank Dell, his rib injury, there's been mixed reports about it, but it does sound like he's going to be good to go to play. Kenneth Walker is leaning towards playing currently. Those oblique injuries can be tricky, but he wasn't a DNP today. Alvin Kamara was a DNP today, but it sounds like it's a Veterans Day for Kamara.
Old man day, baby.
It's an old man day. It's an old man day.
Those are real things. Those are definitely real. I promise.
Those are real things. I wish they had Veteran Days off in the real world. You know, that'd be awesome. I hit 35 next month, and I would qualify.
Yeah, you're a veteran for sure.
I would qualify. I'd qualify for it.
Your vet day off.
Absolutely. So those are some of the injury updates. You got anything else? Austin Eckler is in concussion protocol. He won't be playing. We are on Trey McBride watch. He is leaning towards not playing. He's still in concussion protocol. Did you have any updates on Sam Laporta there in Lineberry?
It's just a low ankle sprain. I mean, we'll get more into that as we talk about our starts and sits. Again, ankle sprains are tough. It happens all the time in football. They're just really tough to come back from.
Yeah. So just be aware of that. And then not injury related, but Travis Kelce's old and he sucks. So he might not play.
He'll play. That's breaking news.
Are we not going to talk about
right?
Roshan? Let's talk about Roshan.
Okay. Listen, hey, Roshan's your boy. You were hyped on Roshan, and then you dropped him. You dropped him for Cole Kmet in our dynasty league, and he got swooped from right out from underneath me. So talk about your boy Roshan.
Again, it's coach talk. Again, they sound like they want to give him more touches, whether that's rushes or more snap percentage. So just be on the lookout for that. I don't know if I'm going to buy it yet, but man, watching DeAndre Swift's cut-ups, not good. He did not look good. Does not look like he's seeing the field at all. So,
at a minimum, that backfield will be split. They paid Swift, so they're going to utilize him a little bit. Maybe they just try to get him going in the passing game instead of trying to run between the tackles. But don't forget, Herbert's still in there too. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with this Bears backfield.
I did want to get you guys' opinion on this trade to see if you guys had the same opinion I did. So my friend Kadrick sent me a little trade because I'm the fantasy expert now in this big text group. So Amari Cooper, Josh Allen, Dalton Kincaid. That's your triplets. Cooper, Kincaid, Josh Allen. For Derrick Henry, Evan Ingram, and Lamar Jackson. Which side would you want?
The Josh Allen side.
The Allen side.
That's what I said. I said this is bonkers. I was like, if you think you're getting a steal, first of all, you're getting rid of Stack, which I love that Stack a lot. I get Kincaid's been slow. Just trust it. Cooper's been good. He's still the one in that offense. He had 2 touchdowns this week. Do I hate Deshaun Watson? Absolutely.
What?
But don't trade ones away. He looks really good.
I'm trying to figure out why does he want that? What, like, you're trading away the best player in Josh Allen. Why are you trading away the best player in the NFL right now for Josh Allen for something else?
Josh Allen is almost like an untouchable in almost every league, whether it's one quarterback or not. Derrick Henry, I get he had a huge game, but what is Dallas's defense? We don't know yet.
Oh, we're going to talk about Dallas's defense today.
We don't know if they're good. And no, I think all three of us can agree. None of us want any part of the Jacksonville Jaguars offense.
No.
Okay. That's where I'm at.
I do have a comment here with Blaze. He just, because we talked about it, if Herbert would play Chargers week 5 bye, they have a bye week on 5, could sit for the extra time. I don't think so. I think I'm with you. I think they play him if he's any remotely ready to go. They will certainly just rest him during week 5, but they'll play him week 4.
I agree with that as well.
Moving in. So that is our news. Let's get right into our meat and potatoes of our show today. Just starts and sits. So let's get it up, pull it up. Let's see what's going on. Quarterbacks right out of the. Oops. Let me roll back here.
There we go. Gosh, spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Yeah, spoiler stuff. Whew. So here we are, right out of the gate. I think these ones are pretty straightforward. Justin, you want to talk about your guy, why you're starting him?
So Baker again, and Chance. Like, I feel like I'm a little bit of a Denver Broncos fan, which is really hard for me to say because Chance just gasses him up, and like I want Chance to have a good Sunday.
Let's go.
Dude, that defense is gross. Like, they have a bunch of no-name guys. They lost Alex Singleton, right, which sucks.
Sucks.
They went out and signed some backers. I don't think it's going to hinder them too much. Again, you guys have heard my fandom about Patrick Surtain and what he can do for a defense. I think that had a big impact on Baker. Like, he took away Mike Evans. Like, Mike Evans is his guy. So Baker's had a bad game again against the Denver's defense. I think this is a bounce back. I think people are downplaying how physical and how emotional that Philly and Saints game was. I think you'll see a big crash in Philly's defense again. I still don't think they have fixed their secondary problems, and I think the Bucs get back on track with Philly.
Yeah, for sure. That Philly defense isn't as good. Right there at the bottom, as you see, they're ranked 18th against the pass, so mid-pack. Certainly Mayfield and the crew can exploit that. Chance, you want to talk about your guy?
Yeah, so we mentioned Justin Fields a little bit yesterday, but for me, Justin Fields, so one, his coach came out and said there isn't even a conversation about whether or not he'll start this next week. Like, the Steelers have bought into Justin Fields and what he is and who he can be. And I think with that, they're going to start taking the reins off a little bit and letting him maybe play like Justin Fields plays. Does it also help that he's playing the Indianapolis Colts, who currently they are ranked 21st in points allowed to the quarterback. And then they're also ranked 17th in points allowed to the running back. They're just not good at stopping the run. And if you have Najee Harris, I think he's going to eat, but I think Justin Fields has every opportunity to just really add the ground game to his fantasy production this week.
Yeah, that defense, like you said, is just not good. 21 against the pass.
And they lost
at the bottom. They're just not good at all.
They lost their best defensive player in Buckner. Like,
yep.
I think, like Chance said, like it's going to be a longer leash for Justin Fields, so maybe he does take some more shots. So.
This one is tough for me on moving on. My guy, I went ahead with Geno Smith, and it sounds goofy against the Lions, but the Lions are mid-pack against the pass, and Geno's looked pretty good in that offense. So if I'm not saying he's like, oh, that's my number one guy you're going to start. I'm saying if he's a super flex or you need somebody, maybe got an injury and Geno is there. Yeah, I think he's viable. I do have a couple questions for you guys. And Mayfield, we're starting, I think, for sure. Fields or AR?
Fields
or
Darnold?
Darnold.
It's so close. I think I go Darnold there. But like the rushing upside of Justin Fields is,
I think this could be the game Chance was talking about yesterday, where he rips off a 70. This could be it. So.
And one more, Fields or Goff?
Fields. That's Fields.
Okay. Fair enough. So there, and I have Fields and Geno very close as well. So a lot of those guys, I'm playing Geno over some of those guys as well. So moving on to our QB sit-ems.
Here's your guy, Matt. Oh, Matt, this
Yeah, yeah. So I'm going to roll with Caleb Williams. I can't start him. I just can't. That offense is so bad right now. I know Caleb put up a lot of numbers last week, right, against Indy. He was running for his life and had to throw, game stripped, this, that, and the other. This might be a shootout. The Rams are ranked 29th against the pass. They're not very good. There's other guys. I'm playing those other guys, Geno and Fields, above Caleb this week. That sounds gross. I just need one more week to see. I want to see if they're going to do any improvement. The run offense is horrible. The line's horrible. And he's just running around for his life. So that's just me. I'm okay sitting him this week. I might eat crow on this one, but I'm okay to I'm not buying.
So I've done AR back-to-back weeks, which is really tough. I think this is the week
Smart.
You got to stream off of him. Like, just stream off him until he does something. So he's got to play the Steelers defense, and me and Chance both firsthand got to watch that defense, and it was rough. And I thought the Falcons played pretty good against them. They scored a touchdown. So I think you got to pivot off of him. Chance has already said Steelers are number one in DVOA. Teams are 7 of 32 on third down. 7 first downs on third downs, which is nuts. 3.5 yards a carry. They have 9 sacks. They've allowed 2 touchdowns. This defense is good. This is a very good defense. I don't think this is a week for AR. I just don't. If I'm wrong, then that's crazy.
It might get ugly real fast in this game.
Yep.
Chance, you've got Mr. Matthew Stafford against the Bears. There's your thoughts of why you're sitting him.
I think Matt Stafford, to me, he was a guy that, like, we talked about this last week in his win against the Rams, or against the Niners. Like, he was a really serviceable quarterback, and I always view Matt Stafford as a streamable quarterback because it's a good system, even without the receivers like Kupp and Puka. He still distributes the ball. He still had a passing touchdown to Kyren Williams. But this Bears defense is as good as their offense is bad. And, like, they just have a really good defense. So they're ranked number 7. And I think with the addition of a lack of help in the receiving option, to me, Matt Stafford is an easy sit-em this week. I just don't think that they're going to be able to do as much against that Bears defense, which is going to keep the Bears in the game.
Yeah. Agreed. Moving on to our stardom running backs. James Conner is my guy. So understand, James Conner had a horrible week last week. He didn't put up very many fantasy points. It was kind of more of a throw set up there. So you have an opportunity to buy him weak and put him in your lineup against the Washington Commanders run defense, which is 17 in the league, which isn't terrible, but I like him for a big bounce back. Get him in there, let him run. He's still the RB1 in there, and he'll get his numbers this week for sure. Singletary is our next guy.
Love it.
Okay, so this is wild because Lineberry, you had Singletary as a sit. Is that right?
I started this. I missed text. I switched those. That was the point. Okay. I was having a conversation while texting, not the best.
Okay, guys, you sent that, and I was like, dude, are you serious? I was like, so here's the deal, and I feel like we have really done Devin Singletary, and I'm guilty, man. I will be first in line to say I have done Devin Singletary dirty this year in fantasy football because I just didn't think he or the Giants were going to be good. He's been a legit player. He has been a really good back. If you have him, you're super happy with his production. Like his first week was a little tough, but then in week 2, he scored 13 fantasy points and then 15 fantasy points. And this is in half-point PPR. But the Dallas Cowboys, like we talked about yesterday, they're not a good defense right now. They, week 1, Jerome Ford had 15 points against them. Week 2, Alvin Kamara had 43 points against them. And then last week, Derrick Henry had 29 points against them. Like, they are ranked really, really low against the run. And so with
dead
Devin
last.
Singletary, dead last.
They are
against
dead
the
last
run.
against the run.
So, it's hard. I would say, oh well, it's Alvin Kamara and it's Hunter Henry, or Derrick Henry. But even Jerome Ford got it going against them. So to me, I'm fire Devin Singletary up. Not only is it going to be that game, but it's also going to be a divisional game that the Giants might surprisingly be in. They might be in this game. And if the Giants go out and beat the Dallas Cowboys, burn your Cowboys jerseys. Just burn them. Okay? The Cowboys, if they lose to the Giants, I would
sell it. Trade Micah Parsons to the Falcons.
Justin, you got Brian Robinson Jr. as a start this week for you going against the Cardinals, ranked number 9 against the run. What are your thoughts?
So I think
19,
it's just surprising how much run he is getting. And I think we were texting one day, and he's the one that mentioned to me, like we were just texting randomly, but Eckler's already been ruled out. He's been getting 16 plus touches a game with an uptick on snap count. Okay, with snap percentage, I should say. Arizona's allowing 123 yards a game. The thing, at least I've noticed about the Falcons game, so they played a mobile quarterback every game. So what that does to your defense is rush lanes. You have to be committed to them, as well as you can't be as aggressive. Okay, so the pin the ears back, try to get penetration. Not necessarily leave your gap, but you can be more aggressive. So they with the Commanders having Jaden Daniels, who is a threat to get out of the pocket, run around. You just have to play defense totally different. You can't be as aggressive. I just feel like that just opens up plays in the run game. So I just feel like Robinson is just going to keep getting better and better. Again, defenses have to play more conservative against the Commanders because Jaden Daniels is a dude. And I saw that stat on Twitter where they've scored on every play. Like, I'm sorry, they haven't.
Yeah, 2 games in a row, no turnovers, scored every drive minus the kneel downs, and they've had no turnovers,
which is crazy. Like, that is very efficient offense. So,
moving on, get these guys in your lineup for sure. They're going to help you win this week. Stidhams, these are pretty obvious. We're going to jump right into it. Yeah, let's start at the ETN going against the number 7th ranked against the run Texans. Take it away.
Oh, man. Anybody on the Jaguars right now, I am not starting. The only reason ETN had a relevant week this week was garbage time. They were down 30, and he got some run. This is bad. I don't know who's worse out of the Jaguars and Panthers. I don't know. This team is bad.
Yeah, they are bad. Their luck is so bad on the way home that they didn't leave the airport till like 1 or 2 in the morning because the plane they were going back had mechanical problems from that game. It just snowballed for these Jaguars. It's rough. It's rough. Moving on to Zamir White. I had him here just a second. I mean, I think it speaks for itself. He's just horrible.
Tell us why we were wrong, Matt. Tell us why we were wrong on Zamir White, because you and we loaded up on that train and we gave it the old choo-choo, and it has run us off a cliff.
We both thought he was going to be the workhorse cowbell based off of what he did at the end of last season. So here's his fantasy points: 2.6, 3.8, 3.4, according to Fantasy Pros. His snap percentage: 38%, 63%, 22%. This dude is unstartable. He's droppable. They will sign another running back or get the rookie. Is it Lob? I think it's how you say it. Lob involved. It's terrible. 13 attempts, 9 attempts, 10 attempts for no more than 44 yards. It's horrible. He hasn't scored a touchdown. I don't know. There's nothing you can do but just sit him. And he's going against the Browns, so the 14th ranked rush defense. If you can trade him away in some type of a package for something else, do it. But good luck. I just don't know what to tell you. I was wrong. I guess Chance, we were wrong. So get rid of Zamir White. Get rid of him. So Moving on, Dobbins. Tell us about Dobbins.
So,
not JK chance.
Here's my problem. I love JK, man. I have been so pumped that he has done well. Like, I'm a huge fan of his as just as a player. I love his story. I hope he continues to ball out. I've seen a lot of stuff that you should sell high on J.K. Dobbins. And if you want to sell high on him, you need to do it before he plays Kansas City. Okay. The news about Justin Herbert possibly playing, that does elevate him a little bit. Before when if Herbert sits, Dobbins is a 100% bench, because nobody that the Chargers are going to roll out are going to scare the Chiefs enough to have them not stack the box against the run. They know what John Harbaugh wants to do, right? They're just going to, Jim. And it's, that
It's okay.
they know the Harbaugh offense. Okay. And the Chiefs have not been a great defense. I mean, I think they're ranked. Do you have this? Is this against the run? Or is this?
Yep. This is against the run.
Against the run, yeah. So with that, I mean, they have played against Derrick Henry and Zach Moss and Bijan Robinson. And Bijan had a pretty good game out of the backfield. But as a rusher, Bijan Robinson, he wasn't great, Bob. He was not great the other day. So for me, if J.K. Dobbins and all of his success he's had, I think that ends against the Chiefs. I think that he's going to really struggle against a pretty stacked box with the Chiefs. And they've just done a really good job about shutting down defenses or running backs. So
Their backers are really good at filling. They fill holes quick, man. It was really impressive. Bolton is a dude. Drew Tranquil played really well. They're both really good backers.
And it's well known, if they have a little time to prepare for you, watch out.
Yeah,
So-
as far as allowing points to the running back in PPR formats, they're ranked third in points allowed to running backs in PPR. So, and they're ranked 25th against the QB and 12th against wide receivers. It's not, they're middle of the pack everywhere else, third against the running back.
Yep. Fair enough. Avoid these guys. Get them out of your lineup. Trade them away. Sit them. Do what you can this week.
I do see we have a comment. Blaze commented the Gus bus. I feel like it's not a bus, but Blaze he's a Gus bus truther. I would sit Gus Edwards also. I would sit this backfield.
Yeah, I would actually move on from Gus. I think I would trade him away personally, but that's just me. Hey, moving on to stardom, our wide receivers. I guess, again, you're starting all your studs. And I'm going to start with Chance because he's got Marvin Harrison Jr. up there, which you kind of know. But I know
who doesn't belong in this photo right now.
Okay, listen. I understand.
So go ahead.
I understand
Speak to it.
that we have had some deep. It's easy to. We are doing a good job of finding good deep starts. But Marvin Harrison Jr. is such an obvious start, and I just want him to come back and blow Malik Neighbors out of the water again as rookie of the year leading candidate. But so. Washington, they do not have a good secondary. They are a sieve to wide receivers. On top of that, we talked about Trey McBride in concussion protocol. So with that, I really think Marvin Harrison Jr. is set to eat. And in my mind, most people wouldn't have Marv as their wide receiver one. He was drafted. Maybe that's it. Maybe you have him as a wide receiver two. Fire him up with 100% confidence. I think he's going to have a huge game again.
Agreed. I'm pulling for him. The race for rookie of the year is just going to be phenomenal. It's going to be so awesome to watch. Justin, you have Johnson. Tell us why you want to restart him with the red rifle at the helm.
Love it. So Thielen went on IR this week. So another target monster out of there. New distributed quarterback in Andy Dalton. Chance already hit on it. Loves those veteran quarterbacks. Trusts them. Throw around some shots. He had 14 targets last week. That's crazy. I'll take that all day. And he's had no less than 6. Canales went out and got this guy. Like, he went out, traded for him. They went out and got him. I don't think this Bengals defense is that great. I think they're still trying to figure stuff out. The Bengals have to win this game, or they're in trouble. But I think this will be a good game for Deontay Johnson.
I agree. So you'll notice that they are number 8 against the pass, but remember, it's not always just ranking they're good. It's volume wins. So if you're getting 14 targets, you're starting the guy. I don't care who he's playing against. So he is the number one wide receiver on that team. You got to start and put him in your lineup. Their last guy here, Yoshi. We talked a little bit about him yesterday. He's going up against the Panthers, right? So they're playing each other. 17th ranked pass defense. Normally, you would say Chase, Higgins, Yoshi. I'm thinking 2 and 3 are flipping here. I'm kind of liking Yoshi. The reason being, he's getting 2 games of 77 snaps on the percentage. He's getting anywhere from 6-7 targets. He's already got 3 touchdowns on the year. They're getting this guy involved. And I know he's not a number 1. He's probably a very border number 2, certainly could be a 3. So if you need a guy, plug this guy into your lineup. I think he'll pay dividends for you, and he's kind of sneaky good. If he's even on your waiver wire, which he might be, make sure you pick him up. Anything to add on that, fellas?
No,
Okay.
I think the Bengals got to rely on the passing game. Like, they got to get this right quick. Like, 0-4 is a really deep hole.
Yep, agreed. Moving on to Sid'em, you see some familiar names. This is interesting. Chance, let's start with you again on your Sid'em this week.
Hey, and again,
whoever Patrick Surtain is playing.
Listen. Hey, I love this. Okay, like if there was not another, when you have wide receivers that are the number 1 that play against a lockdown, shutdown cornerback, like, it's a real thing. It's a real thing when cornerbacks are good enough to absolutely erase guys from games. And I just think Garrett Wilson is going to be in that same boat yet again. I mean, he's going to face Patrick Surtain, who has been an absolute shutdown stud cornerback. And we had this conversation before we started. And Matt, he's on one side, but Lineberry and I, we were talking about, do you really, like, maybe Garrett Wilson isn't that dude. Maybe he's not an alpha. You know, he was drafted to be, and, you know, I think he's got a good quarterback, but maybe he's just not the alpha we thought he was going to be. So with that, I think that the Denver defense and Patrick Surtain are really going to shut Garrett Wilson down this week.
Yeah, I think he's one of those guys you roll out there anyway, but just understand, we just saw what Patrick Surtain did to Mike Evans last week, like you stated. So, like, temporary expectations.
What he did to DK, I mean, DK's blown up the last 2 games, and Pat shut him down. You know, it's...
Yeah, for sure. Justin, you have Brandon Ayuk as a sit going against the 27th ranked pass defense against the Patriots. Your thoughts on why this is the case?
My second favorite DB that is not on the Falcons is Christian Gonzalez. Okay, so everybody, if you have time right now during this chat, look up PFF and look at his ranking. You're gonna be shocked at this. Okay, so I'm not out on Ayuk. Okay, I'm not. This is a hard week. He's going against Gonzalez. I think game script will not be in his favor. I think they'll rely on Jordan Mason. I think this could be a Juwan Jennings game again. Okay, so for you that just looked up the PFF grade, he's the 100th graded guy in the NFL at quarterback. So PFF, if you commit any PIs, any penalties, you get absolutely killed in that rating system. Okay, so I'm just going to give you some stats real quick. So he's played against Jamar Chase, DK Metcalf, and Garrett Wilson. Those are the 3 guys, the 3 ones that he's played against. Allowed 12 catches on 19 targets for 75 yards, 6 first downs, and 1 touchdown. That's what he's allowed against those 3 studs. We can all agree. I don't know what Garrett Wilson is yet, but he's a dog.
It's fair.
He is a really good player. Like, I really do think he's a top 5 guy. I think it's going to be really hard to unseat Patrick Surtain, but man, Christian Gonzalez is a freak.
Yep. I can keep in mind too, we talked about this yesterday. Ayuk, this is still kind of his preseason. He sat out forever and ever and ever and ever. So just because he's back ready to roll, be patient with him. We do think he'll pick back up, but not this week. I agree with you. Go ahead, Chance.
If Ayuk gets shut down by Christian Gonzalez this week, he should be the number 1 trade for target in every league, because after last week and this week, Ayuk managers are going to be really frustrated by him. And it's okay. It's okay. You would want to have Brandon Ayuk towards the end of the season when the Niners are going to lean on their dogs to go and win games that they're going to need. Brandon Ayuk will 100% be a trade for target, a buy low if he gets shut down by Gonzalez.
100%.
Agreed.
Love that.
The last guy here, kind of sitting him. It's tough. I just don't like anybody on the Raiders offense. Adams, you're probably not sitting him. You've drafted him
Matt,
to roll
what
him out
about
there.
your guy?
I
What about Bowers?
Yeah, that's probably the only guy. That's the only guy. And he was a little bit light last week, but that's all the tight ends. But, just understand they're going against Cleveland. Cleveland's got a pretty good defense. Adams is the guy. They don't even know who they want to be their quarterback right now with the Raiders. So just temper expectations. If I had other choices, I'd try to move on from Adams the best I could. Hopefully you listened to us and you didn't draft him. So moving on.
No shares.
Tight ends. So tight ends, we all agree the tight end position has been absolutely abysmal. It's just been this abyss. We don't know who's what, who's where, who we thought we was, who we thought everybody was going to be. I go back to the very beginning of the season. We're like, wow, this is the deepest tight end group in the NFL we've ever seen. It's going to be awesome. You saw people drafting 2 tight ends, and we haven't seen any tight ends do anything this year. It's been absolutely crazy. But we do have some stardoms for you this week. Chance, go with your guy first.
Listen, my guy, who is Justin's guy, is Kyle.
Yes!
Yeah,
and he should have had a touchdown last week.
And listen, this is so funny because I was like, oh man, Gesicki's been my guy. I have spoken way too much about Gesicki. I gotta find somebody else for the startup. I've been about that guy. Cole Kmet has a really great matchup. We talked about him in the other day. So I had to find somebody that wasn't those two. And just looking, the Saints, 25th against tight ends, but also if you look at PPR points allowed per game, they're 30th against tight ends. So they allow more points to tight ends than all but 2 teams in the league. So that's an area that the Saints are not as strong at. I thought the Saints were going to be a better defense. And I think after their Dallas game, we're all like, oh, the Saints are a really good defense. And then they ran into the Eagles, who had a good game against them. Dallas Goedert will really bump those numbers up, what he did last week. But I really think Kyle Pitts is really turning into a focal point of this Falcons offense. I think Pitts is an easy start, even if you've been disappointed in him the last couple of weeks.
Robinson came out and gassed him up. He's like, he looks really well. Like, we're just going to keep getting him more involved. People are concerned about the targets, but again, remember, he's coming off that knee thing. He looks so much better movement-wise. Like, that touchdown, should have been touchdown, but got tackled at the 1, typical. But he looks a lot better.
Yep. Justin, Mike Gesicki again hits this list this week. Give us your thoughts against the Panthers.
I don't know tight ends anymore. I thought I was a tight end guy, but man, like, I told you guys to sit down, Scotter, and I looked like so dumb. I was like, there's no way he's gonna go off. But again, I'm just gonna go off the targets. I think the Bengals are gonna say, you know what, forget about this run game. Let's just throw the ball a ton. I think Gesicki's just a really high floor guy to start every week, and he's super cheap. He's usually on waivers. I think they want more out of it, but man, if you can get 8 points from your tight end from week to week, I think you're pretty happy.
Yep, agreed. My guy is Chance kind of alluded to, is Cole Kmet. Let me give you some just snap percentages. So game 1, 48, game 2, 77, and game 3, 81%. Historically, rookie tight ends or rookie quarterbacks like their tight ends. But I think in Chicago's case, I think they were thinking Allen would be that guy, right? Those short dink and dunks get open. Allen's been injured. So Kmet has stepped in and just slowly increased his snap count or snap percentages. His targets have also gone up, 1, 5, and 11. Therefore, his yards have gone up. And last week, he had 97 yards for a touchdown. I think it's not a bad spot for against LA. Again, the Bears are going to be the Bears. I don't know what to do with Caleb. He might get him the ball, but I think he's worth throwing out there just because they don't typically run the deep route stuff. It's those quick hitters for tight ends. So it's an easy safety valve for them. So I feel confident rolling out Kmet this week. Moving on to Siddums. Again, some interesting names here. Like, let's talk about Ingram right out of the gate going against the number 6 ranked passing Texans. Chance, your guy here.
I mean, when I messaged the group, it was Evan Ingram or Brendan Strange. I mean, like, I really think the Texans, they've allowed quarterbacks to really throw on them a little bit more than I think we thought they were going to. They're ranked 26th as far as what quarterbacks can do, but they are ranked 6th in points allowed to tight ends. And so to me, I think that I feel so bad. I don't really feel that bad. I wanted Trevor Lawrence to be good. I like the Jacksonville Jaguars as a team. I was hoping that they would have a decent season, but as you can tell, we have a sit-em from them in almost every single position category, and it's no different for their tight ends. Even if, I mean, the best bet for these tight ends is that the Texans absolutely just drop one on them, and they have to have some garbage time production. But even then, if they do that, the Texans have been stout against the tight end. So I think that production in garbage time is going to come via their wide receivers and not their tight ends.
Yep, for sure. I'm going to bounce to Hunter Henry with this. Look, they're playing the 49ers, who is the ranked 20th against the pass. Hunter Henry's snap share is already starting to decline. He did get injured last week. Got an ankle injury. I just don't like anything to do with the Patriots right now. I know he could have been their number one guy. Against Seattle, he had 12 targets, 8 receptions for 109 yards, but the San Francisco defense is stout. It's solid. Just sit him. There's no reason here. It's easy. Just don't. The player we need to talk about here is Sam Laporta, Justin, going against the Seattle Seahawks, number one against the pass. I think, or more number two. Number one, number two against the pass. Man, why are we sitting Laporta?
Man, like, ankle injuries, like, on skill players are very hard. Like, they're just hard for me to judge. Do they really need him? Do they just rely on Amon St. Brown? Do they rely on Gibbs? They rely on David Montgomery? Like, again, he hasn't been great this year with 45 yards, 13 yards, 36 yards. Like, just hasn't looked the same as Sam Laporta, who was already dependent on touchdowns. He doesn't have any this year. It's just been a rough go of it. Again, Seattle has the number one defense. McDonald has been coaching that defense up. They've been playing really, really well. I think they're going to rely on somebody other than Laporta than put him out there risking further injury. So,
yeah, fair enough. Just temper those expectations. Who knows what will happen in that game. That is it for our Stardom Sit-em, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. We're going to get to some questions here in just a second because we want Q&A. We want you to help you. We want us to help you, but you got to help us, right? This is a back and forth conversation. We want you to win your fantasy leagues. We always said that, but subscribe, like, make a comment, man. That's what we're here for. Blaze has got a really, really good question. Thoughts on Dowdle tomorrow night? This one's interesting. Chance, let's start with you.
So the Giants are like right smack dab in the middle as far as points allowed to the running back. They're 15th so far over 3 weeks. So to me, I just feel like, I don't know. We've been talking about how they've started to fade Zeke, and Dowdle I think is a really good buy and a really good hold in fantasy football because somebody has to show up in that offense. Somebody has to show up. And I think that they're going to be in red zone opportunities more often than not because their defense is so bad and Zach's going to have to sling the ball all over. I think I'd start him. I think against the Giants, I'd start him. As much as I want like good high flying offense, we all know how divisional games work, right? We've all have our teams that look really good and they get into a divisional slugfest match with a divisional opponent. And the games aren't always as exciting as we want them to be. And I think this game could really be a ground and pound by both teams on the ground. I think I would start Dowdle tomorrow. It depends on what else he's got, but I wouldn't be afraid to start Dowdle tomorrow.
Game script is going to be huge on this, right? Are the Giants going to be able to move the ball all over that Dallas defense? And then they got to play from behind, that type of stuff. Now we're passing the ball. Dowdle currently is about 45% of the snap share, right? So it's not a lot. He's getting anywhere 7 to 8 carries. His average isn't bad, about 4 yards a carry, and he's getting a few targets. I'm not sure. This is a roll the dice. If you
Tough
think
question.
he's going to do it, it's really, really tough. If you want to go with it, I don't have a problem with it. But I do want to ask this question. I'm going to give you some names. So Rico Dowdle, Braylon Allen.
Dowdle.
Jeez.
Dowdle or Cam
Yeah.
Akers if Mixon's out.
Cam Akers.
Yeah.
Carson Steele or Dowdle.
Still.
They did elevate Kareem Hunt to the 53-man roster. I don't know. We didn't cover that in the news, but Kareem Hunt has been elevated to the 53-man roster. It makes me a little nervous in Steele, but I still think he has the favor. He has the favor of that coaching staff.
Okay. I just want to throw those names out there so you can kind of get a comparison where they're at as far as the rankings go this week. But
with Thursday night football, like, I feel like people want to play players just because they're playing that night, and like, you just want a guy playing, and like, if he's not one of my studs, like, I don't want guys on Thursday night. Like, it just scares the crap out of me. It's like Thursday night is like Friday the 13th. Like, you just never know what you're gonna get with those games. They're just wonky sometimes. So,
yeah, and sometimes they just don't perform well. It's one less day, right? If you played on Sunday, it's one less day, or really more than one less day, but it's a short week. So it's tough. And sometimes they don't seem like they produce like we want them to. Not always, but it seems like most of the time. Blaze, that's a great question. We are about 40 minutes in. If you guys have other questions, put them in the chat. Again, hit that subscribe button. Let us know. We want to answer your football questions. And next week, we are going to start bringing up some trades, right? We're past week 4. We're going to start trade values, who we think. I think we're starting to see a little bit of a trend. Not much of one, but a little bit of who we want to go out and get for sure.
Hey, just speaking of trades, because we have a little time to kill, I want to bring up a trade that was offered to me in a league. It's just a redraft league, no keepers, nothing. So I had somebody who he would send me Ken Walker for Josh Jacobs. And I'm just curious where you guys are at on that. Would you rather have Ken Walker or Josh Jacobs moving forward?
It's tough. Ken Walker has been so good this year.
The contemplation.
He's been so good this year.
I like Ken Walker if he can stay healthy. I think I'm going to Kenneth Walker.
That's the thing. If he can stay healthy. Luckily in that league, I mean, I already lost CMC and I lost Isaiah Pacheco. And so I'm leaning on Josh Jacobs and Alvin Kamara. And so it's like, do I trade away one of my only healthy running backs for an oft injured Ken Walker? It's tough.
Yeah, I'm staying with Walker healthy.
Like Charbonnet has looked good, and that makes me question a little bit. Do they pivot off of him a little bit? Does that become a more shared backfield where the first week Ken Walker was like 66%, and he looked good?
Ken Walker is a good running back, though. He is. I think he's got to be a top 8 pure runner in the league when he's healthy.
Yeah.
Another question here from. Go ahead.
I go.
Another question from Blaze here. Need the dub this week, right? He's versus Justin. Must be playing you. Sutton or Flowers? Sutton or Flowers? What are your guys' thoughts? Justin, let's start with you this time.
Do I use the reverse psychology here?
Sure.
And just tell my opponent who to start? My honest answer is Sutton. I think Sutton's better.
Really?
I don't think Flowers is a good player.
Does Sauce Gardner scare you off of Sutton in any way? I think that's the question. No. Because the Ravens, I feel the Ravens are like, we want to run the ball 45 times a game. Like that's our ideal game script. And like, I don't know if Flowers is even the number 3. I don't know. Like that offense is weird. I like Sutton a lot, man. He has, like, Bo Nix obviously has helped change my view of Sutton a lot, but I don't know. I'm not scared of Sauce. I think Sauce gets talked up a lot. He's really similar to Trayvon Diggs with me. He makes those big plays, but then he gets burnt. Like, he's not consistent like Sartan and Gonzalez, where like, hey, they might not get a ton of picks, but like, you're not catching any balls over here. Mm-hmm. And I feel the same way. Like, I feel like the cornerbacks that get a lot of hype that have like flashy picks and flashy plays, they still get targeted because they're beatable. They just make good plays. And quarterbacks like Christian Gonzalez and Pat Surtain, people don't talk about them because they
don't throw the ball that way.
They don't throw the ball that way. It's like, hey, they lock down the side of the field and they don't get targets because they lock their guys down. Zay Flowers, the Ravens are playing the Bills. I mean, it's a tough question. I might lean Sutton in this case, but against the Bills, I think you're going to have an absolute awesome game. Lamar Jackson might have to air it out against Buffalo because Josh Allen is going to be Josh Allening.
Josh Allen.
Yeah. Baltimore's defense isn't very good, right? That defense is not very good. I agree with Chance. I think they're going to have to air it out. And if you put Sauce on Sutton and I'm going to have to put Flowers in to just catch a bunch of passes, give me Flowers this week. I might be wrong, and it could be a coin toss, but I think I like Flowers just a little bit better.
I think when I look at Zay Flowers against Kansas City and against Las Vegas, he had 10 targets and 11 targets. He's getting targets. I mean, he played 89 and 89% of the snaps, and then against Dallas in a negative game script for him.
Yep.
Why do that? I do think Zay Flowers has just that slight edge over Cortland Sutton to me, but
does Naylor not entertain you at all, Blaze? You don't like Jalen Naylor? He's been really good. Start him for the Vikings. No,
scored a touchdown every week.
Just say it. He's been really good, but I don't.
He's been good probably for a week.
You don't have it in you to start him.
Okay. Wow, that is baiting your opponent at its finest. You don't have it in you. You're too scared. Don't have it in you.
I'll set Nico Collins this week.
You won't. You're 1-2 in that league. You can't afford to sit
I'm 2-1. I'm 2-1, baby.
Oh, are you 2-1?
Yeah, second highest point scored, baby.
Okay.
A game that I'm really
on an
exactly.
Team,
there you go. A game that I'm very interested in this week: Green Bay versus Vikings. Especially if Love comes back, that should be a very interesting game. I'm not sure Love will be back, but I am interested in that game. I think all the receivers get a bump for Green Bay if Love comes back, and Vikings defense has been playing out of their mind. I think they're the number one ranked defense overall in a lot of fantasy formats. But your guys' thoughts on that game? We know Justin Jefferson is going to get his, but Green Bay's defense isn't a slouch either. They're mid-pack too. So thoughts on that game?
I really hope that the Vikings come out and just show up and show out. I just hope that they go and just absolutely cream the Packers. As far as like the Packers having owned that division for so long, go Skull Vikings. And did you guys see Aaron Jones's comments? They asked him about playing in Lambeau for the first time, not in the green and yellow. And he's like, I don't have the G on my helmet, but I got it in my heart. Aaron Jones' revenge game loading, and I think it's gonna be good.
Cage with the metric system,
Yeah. So Blaze says he's solid for sure, and then KP did say, "Hey, are you guys tracking your starts and sits?" I like it. I like doing that, KP. I haven't actually sat down and done it, but by feel and just kind of anecdotally, we're probably around that 60%. But yes, that is something we want to do, and I love the idea, my friend. I think it's a great idea. We'll see if we can start doing that.
Lineberry.
He's got enough time at work to be able to do this, so
yeah.
He's an analytics guy. He can do it.
Blaze says.
You won't.
Ooh, that is calling you out. That's like triple dog dare you. That's like man, Christmas story. Do it.
I'll start DJ Moore just to spite everyone in here.
Oh man. Yeah, because I traded you DJ Moore in that league.
I love DJ Moore. He's Rick. Caleb Williams has ruined him.
Anybody listening have any questions on, man, were you wrong on a player that you thought like this guy was going to be my guy? And man, I whiffed on it so far. I'd love to hear from the listeners out there if they had a guy that we certainly whiffed on. I've got two big ones, AR5 and Zamir White, that I'm just absolutely just swing and a miss. If that golf ball was on a tee, I missed the golf ball completely. So I'm just curious if they had missed anybody so far.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Trying to look at all these. Let's see.
Listen, it's been rough as a Javonte owner in Dynasty, and Lineberry and I talked about that. He was a guy that was hard to quit, Javonte, and he just does not look like the guy. I mean, he got outpaced by a guy who changed the way his name was pronounced the day before the game, in Tyler Bidet.
Yes, who immediately went back to the practice squad on Monday. So it's like, wow, wait, what?
Did he?
So,
I didn't see that.
Yes, yeah, he immediately went back to practice squad after playing. So I don't know. Well,
Alvin
gentlemen,
Kamara
I guess if we don't have any...
Alvin Kamara is just a guy that I thought he washed, and he just still looks good. I don't understand. He is the weirdest running back I've ever seen in my life. He looks so bored out there. He's still doing well. I just don't understand. So.
And I would say another guy that I was super high on, and he got moved before, was Jahan Dotson. Talk about a guy that just vanished. Just nothing. We thought he was going to be somewhat decent with the Commanders, has gone to the Eagles, and it's just been... He's getting some, snap shares of 79, 88%, but they're just not getting the ball. He's got a couple targets, but again, a guy that's just minute.
He's getting more targets than him, which is nuts. Covey's like their fifth guy, their punter. He gets more catches than Jahan Dotson.
Yeah, it's crazy. Just a guy that just disappeared. Another guy we talked about, keep an eye on, Luke McCaffrey. Keep an eye on that guy. His target snaps have gone, or his snap percentages have gone down. But I think they're going to find ways to get him the ball later. I don't know. Keep an eye out for him.
Currently the highest scoring McCaffrey in fantasy football.
I had to do it too.
Well stated. Well stated. Well stated.
Tough.
A.D. Mitchell's another guy that's kind of fallen off a cliff. If you have him, he's droppable. Not worth picking up.
Is Michael Pittman worth dropping?
It's close. I would rather have Downs. I don't really want much other that offense other than Taylor right now. But
yeah, the passing offense until Richardson shows us something. I don't think you can drop Pittman yet because he had 1,000-yard season last year. Man, he's a hard drop, but I don't think there's anybody out there. So
yeah, Blaze. Gus Bus, one guy that was spot on was Kamara, but missed out on him in every league. That's got to be the worst. Tough. I need that guy. He's going to crush it, and then you can't get him. Oh, that's tough. That's tough. And then KP, Brock Inc. KP has a point. We need a guy with spreadsheets.
Yeah,
I like it. I like it.
Hashtag not a spreadsheet guy right over here.
Hashtag get on it, Kadrick.
I can do it. I don't mind Excel and spreadsheets. It's kind of fun. I just got to be able to do it. So I just have time. So, but I do like the idea. We can always do that prior to. Love it. Love it.
Matt, you should do that on your Veterans Rest Day.
Exactly. Yeah. The old guy day. Yeah. I can. Yeah. Where I don't actually rest. I actually do more work. Yeah. It's perfect.
You do more hobbies. More hobbies.
Yes. More hobbies. Yeah. Just kind of creating a spreadsheet and hit and miss. So easy peasy. Well, gosh, guys. We are 53 minutes in. Got a couple listeners here, but I think we're going to call it a night. We want to wish you guys luck the rest of the way. Let's do a last comments here. Chance, what do you got for this week? What game are you excited about, or whatever you want to go?
You know that because I'm a big Dynasty guy and I love my college ball. Okay, there's lots of NFL games, but I got to pump this. Okay, I know that Alabama, Georgia is getting all the hype this week.
Woo!
Do not sleep on Illinois versus Penn State. I think that game could be a banger game too. Go Boise State against Washington State.
Yeah, go Boise State.
I thought you were going to say.
Who missed out on tickets, right?
I had tickets and we are busy, so I cannot go to Boise State, Washington State. Shoot.
Bummer. Justin, anything from your end?
The game that I'm really looking forward to is that Sunday night game. I've always been a fan of Josh Allen. He's a stud, and Lamar's always been one of my favorite players. It's always fun to watch them go head-to-head. So I'm super excited to watch that game. And then it's hate week. Hate week for the Falcons, man, playing the Saints. Hate week, man. Love it. Let's go. Wearing the red uniforms. Red helmets, baby. My favorite uniforms.
Red helmets?
Love them. They're my favorite. My favorite uniforms. I think the best in the NFL. That's just me, though.
Fair enough. Fair enough. KP, here's what I'll say to your question. What would define hit and miss? We have to define that. So once the Bears define what their offense is, then we'll kind of figure out what the hit and miss is for our picks, because the Bears got to figure out their offense.
My hit and miss was Dallas Goedert as a sit last week and finishing with freaking the number 1 tight end on the week. That was my miss. Good night.
Yeah, that's a pretty big one.
That was a bad one.
I think, though, as a real conversation, I think any hit is if a player finishes in the top 24. Like if you could have started them in the top 24, which would make them a wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2, RB1, RB2, that to me is a hit. If they finish outside the top 24 and you say, hey, this is a start guy, maybe that's closer to a miss.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, somebody like a Marvin Harrison Jr., right? It's like, well, that's the only way you can be as a miss, but you're starting him. But somebody like a Gesicki, who's maybe they're ranked as like 18 to tight end, and then he makes top 12, and you're probably happy if he makes top 13, top 14. Yeah. It's kind of a hit. So you got to keep those things in mind. But
yep.
All right. Oh, we got one more comment. Let's see if KP's laughing. Got it. Sweet. Thank you, everybody, for joining. We will be back next Tuesday. So our plan is Tuesday, Wednesday, go live, answer questions. Ooh, phone drop. Let people know. Bring them in here. Let's ask questions. Let's have fun. We'll give you what our thoughts are. We want to hear your thoughts. We want your feedback. What do you guys want to see? What do you want to hear about? But until then, until next time, stay safe, and we'll see you next time.
Sir.
See you later, everybody.